Welcome to the Township of Nipissing Cemetery Committee meeting for Monday, February the 10th. First item on the agenda, is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? First motion is to appoint a chairperson for 2025. Do you have any
Dave?
nominations for Dave? Okay.
Favor changing chairs.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need a mover and a seconder. Come on, Margit. James
I'll
Scott.
second it.
Get you next time. So motion number C 2025-01, moved by Tom Marchant, seconded by James Scott, that we appoint Dave Yem, chairperson for 2025. All in favor? Carried. Sign. And I'll hand it all over to you. Well, with help.
Thank you.
Next is minutes.
So I need a mover. Go ahead. That we approve the minutes of the May 24th, 2024 meeting for cemetery committee meeting as presented. All in favor?
Thanks.
Item 4, discussion of upgrades to Nipissing Union Cemetery, grounds work proposed and fencing.
To speak to us.
Sure, please.
So we've had, over the past few years, some issues with the Nipissing Union Cemetery section from Highway 534 to the ravine for the new section. The snowmobile trail goes along there, and each year they carve up closer and closer, so they've actually come really, really close to our monuments. So the Snowmobile Club usually puts up snow fencing until we can put something in. So we've priced out steel fencing, and we put away $2,500 for the past 3 years. So with the $2,500 from this year, it'll make it 10, and we'll be ready to install. We do have a quote, so we included that in our capital. So we do have a motion to approve that quote that we have in there. It's, that would be for after. Now, Dan has been working on tree removal and brushing to keep it, so we had some dead trees that were posing an issue.
Yeah, at the Union Cemetery, we had quite a few dead trees leaning out over top of the monuments, so we cleaned them up this fall, and so it should be good for a while now.
You find the spruce are dying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's spruce
everywhere.
Yeah, it's the budworm or whatever it is,
Yeah, yeah,
and the ash in there really died. They were all
Yes.
dying too.
yeah. Same with around us. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, woodpeckers everywhere. And
Yeah, it was just, they were starting to be a little iffy over those headstones
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So that's all the work that we intend to do this year. That they're gonna continue to, the section of land that is next to the cemetery, they continue to clear as there's time. And that all belongs to the cemetery as well for expansion, well into the future, but we're poised, ready to go there. So that was all that we had for the Nipissing Union Cemetery. So the recommendation is the approval of the quote.
Was, at one time, was the Snowmobile Club gonna help us with the fence, or was just with the snow fence?
They looked after the maintenance of the snow fence and keeping their members off of our.
Okay, I
lands.
wasn't sure at one point, I think Tom,
Couldn't find anything in writing that.
no, we didn't,
confirmed
but they,
that, so.
I can't remember what they said or how they said it, but it sounded like they were willing to help us if we, at that time, we didn't have the money.
No, and that's when we started putting money into reserve to make sure that we could cover it. I did reach out to the bereavement authority earlier, and I asked them if we could use the care and maintenance fund for the fence project. And I was told that we're only allowed to utilize the care and maintenance funds for expansion purposes. So for this, we can use the interest, which we take anyway, and we put it in for our maintenance of cemetery, so.
Nope.
we haven't taken it.
And it's well overdue. We used to get dirt bikes,
Yeah,
all kinds of dirt craft like that. That'll stop
And
that.
we have a natural buffer on the rest of it,
Yes.
basically,
Yes.
just that one section that we have to keep the snowmobiles away from the
Yes,
headstones.
And we wanted a nice black steel fence that looked nice for the cemetery, so that's what we're working with.
Where does the actual skidoo trail go? Behind it?
No, right in front of.
Right in front of the
On the
ditch.
road, parallel to the road?
Right in
Between,
the
yeah,
ditch.
right between the,
I've never seen anything there yet.
yeah,
Are they grooming it, banning it?
yeah, they just did,
Yeah, they just did it.
last week.
And they, it gets, the trails aren't so good, then they keep running up, trying to get more snow into their tracks and keep getting closer and closer to the hole.
so one of the
one-
monuments that's right next to the ravine, which is one of the first burials in the cemetery, one of the skis actually dinged
I was just saying,
the
the
bottom.
one year they actually, that's what got us, you know,
Then we went to the
Inquire.
snowmobile club and asked
Yeah.
them to put up snow fencing, so none of the monuments have been damaged since. But we said we would be looking at the fencing to make sure.
I remember, James, that they were talking about it, but I don't remember if there was support for a permanent fence.
I couldn't find anything in the
Okay.
record, so.
I
we
know
started
they
putting
did
the
say
money
they'd
in.
help.
they would help us, but,
No.
and if you don't ask, they'll,
I can ask, I can check.
just in case,
Mhm.
if they're willing to help, because they might have access to different
Cause they're
government monies.
creating the problem.
It doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah, we'll approve it, one way or the other, we'll do it.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
put in. I think it's time. to-
Yeah, yeah,
before we-
would we do it, but if they're willing to help, maybe,
Yeah, this year they had just put up caution tape
yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted snow fencing before.
before, when
Yeah.
they put caution tape this time, and I reached out and I said, no, that won't.
We have to
be
go
enough.
back to the snow fence, caution tape, so.
Because that big windstorm, that was the end of the caution tape, so.
Yes,
Plus, I think there's just too many different personalities out there on the trails right now, so.
Yeah.
Find any issues.
People from all over now, so
Well,
reaching
just-
out for snow.
there's lots of people that are not respecting private property, and we don't want that to happen. So,
that's why they lost Murray Becker's fields like a few years ago, because they were
so we're
running over the plants that were covered in straw and snow and
Right.
instead of just staying right on that marked trail and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't go over a seeded field even.
Yeah.
Because you'll kill it.
Yeah.
And if you do that. So that was
Okay.
all we had for the Nipissing Union. We didn't have any issues this year.
Nope.
It was good. It was busy. We did have a request for a bench, but it didn't come to fruition. Then wants to put in a memorial bench, so if that does come back around, we will make sure that we circulate and have another meeting.
So is that the granite bench or what the King family did a few years ago?
No, they didn't have a decision yet. They were still
Okay.
looking at options.
Okay.
So it's a different family wanting to start something.
A few years ago, we, Ruby and Laurel King put a bench in between
Right.
cemeteries, just so when people went, they had a place to rest.
Yeah.
Older people, not like every class. Okay, so I need a mover. Start. And a seconder. we approve quote from NEFAF Incorporated for the supply and installation of 75 feet of Alden ornamental fence, 5 feet high with 2-inch square posts and caps along the western edge of the old section of Nipissing Union Cemetery. All in favor? Carried.
Is the Alsace.
So number 6, discussion of expansion of Alsace Cemetery, confirmed survey order, groundswork proposed and time frame. So open for discussion.
I had some questions about how much land is available, and it's all in the map there, I see.
Yes, we brought the map package for everybody, and we've been in touch with the Goodrich from Goodrich, who made planning and surveying, has experience with cemeteries, working with Mattawa and Cache Bay. So he's been working with us to figure it out, and he's done some of the groundwork just to see. So there is a map there. We should be able to get approximately 600 lots. At this time, there's only about room for maybe two more burials.
Yeah, I'd heard you just cut it off a while ago.
Pre-need, yes. If you need it, if someone passes and they come to us, we can go and we can sound the cemetery immediately. But for pre-needs, we can't because of all the different.
Because I was surprised the Reistein was buried there because it's pretty crowded around there. I thought
They had a pre-existing home
they had it already
from
bought.
years ago before we took it.
Do you have any old maps, like actual maps
Who's there?
of the St. John's?
Yes,
How old are they?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
So is there lots of unknown graves marked on it?
There's certain graves marked on it.
Because my dad had an old map. He kind of looked after for a while, and when he died, I thought we'd find it. So he obviously gave it to somebody.
We didn't receive all of the records from the church when we took ownership of the cemetery. We're still working on tracking that down. We've been in touch with different people looking for the different records.
Because I thought, I know he had one because I helped him dig graves there. And
Mhm.
we couldn't find it in any of the stuff. So he obviously gave it to somebody.
I think Ron might have got it.
He might have, I
He
don't
would have
know.
brought it to the office though.
Yeah, had a couple books that we didn't get,
Yeah.
all hand-drawn books too, extras.
So we checked in Trout Creek Catholic Church has some of our records. Some were given to a member of our staff actually. So he's working on finding the rest. What we can, because we weren't given the complete package at that time.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's old cemetery. for
Mhm,
sure.
yeah. It is, and that's why we don't want to disturb any of the older section. We would rather expand and allow for 600 more lots and allow for people to plan, making sure that we're respecting all of those remains
So is this gonna be done all at once or just
all at once.
all at once, front end side or back end side?
So when I checked with the bereavement authority today, I was told that we can apply to borrow from the care and maintenance fund for the purposes of the expansion. So we won't be using tax funds or municipal reserves, so we can actually use that fund. And I do have to check with them to make sure that we can do the survey work through that fund as well. And if not, then that's why we wanted the quote from Paul Goodrich.
Now, does that qualify us doing it or if that source it?
Yeah, that would be us. Yeah, there's no requirements on how it's done. With certain grants, we have to source it out, but
Right.
this isn't a grant. This is us using the actual funds to expand the cemetery to continue. So I think that would be, we have lots and lots of room in Commanda. And we have lots of room with the Nipissing Union. So with this expansion of the Alsace, we'd be set for.
And we'll have, get a hold of somebody and see if those trees are good for hydro poles. They can try and get some money that way.
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
a logger of some sort, but I think hydro poles would be their best bet. I just don't know if they meet the criteria.
It's much money.
So can somebody go in there and take the material out just for the material without any liability issues with the township or can't do it?
What material?
Like the trees,
The trees, no, we would have,
We have to
we'd have an agreement with someone and we'd have to make sure that they gave us the best price. So that there'd be a competition there.
And insurance.
Oh, yes, they'd have to have their own. We wouldn't take. that.
So other people can do it then? Like a
Oh, yes.
contract?
Contract.
Yeah, we won't be taking down the trees. That's not,
Okay, that's just my point.
No.
Somebody building a cabin or something like.
They'd be perfect.
if they want to give us a price for what they want, and it'll be a competition when we get to that point. So our plan is to leave, how much space around the
Probably,
outside?
we're saying a 20-foot buffer around the outside of the existing one right now of trees, and then we'll open up everything else, so we have that buffer between the old and the new.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a walkway,
There'll be a
driveway
walk-
through. So you can connect the two, but we want to maintain the sanctity of the old site.
We'll have a couple little walkways off to the side and through the back, and then we're proposing a driveway, go right around the whole new section
Yes.
in the.
Who owns it or?
We do. The township does.
Oh,
So we have the deed. We were doing all the research. So it was deeded to us. We have the transfers, we have all the
So
documents.
there more than this that's
I
sold?
think we have 2.5 acres there.
Yeah, 2.5 acres.
So I think we're only utilizing about an acre.
Yeah, I guess. Took those figures and multiplied them and divided by 43 by 60, and come up with acreage.
Yeah, and you know, my thoughts is we're not gonna shouldn't have people jumping around. We'd like to start at the back and work our way out of the cemetery. So
Like we did in the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so we just work our way out of there because it's gonna be a tight.
Yeah.
And then this way, there's no issues with the equipment.
Yeah.
But we will allow for pre-need purchases, so if a family wants to buy several lots
Yep.
together,
Yes,
then we can start to
Yeah.
accommodate that again.
In advance, they don't have to wait till they die, they can buy 5 plots.
That was one of the
But we're
figures,
going to start selling from the back
Work out.
and work out.
that was one of the complaints before, but not being able to buy.
There's very limited space, and so there were a lot that we had to move around. Someone had purchased before, and when we went into sound, we were able to utilize the lot.
Are you gonna designate a cremation section?
We weren't planning on it. What we do is we do the full burial lot, or it can be broken down into two for 2 cremated remains, and we should have plenty of space for that.
2 cremations per lot. But,
Yeah, for years we were just one,
oh, that's,
Yeah.
4 by,
That's a waste of
9,
space.
and that's, a waste of space.
But more and more people are being cremated, and allowing for 2 per lot is working well.
you allow a cremation to go on top of the casket?
Did we send you a copy of our bylaw?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did
I
read
just wanted
some
to
of
make
it a
sure.
while ago when I got it, yeah.
yes, no, it's 1 casket or 2 cremated remains.
did you have the quote for your trees?
Didn't?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
We're
I
gonna-
have it in the report, but,
Yeah.
it
We're,
didn't have.
we're gonna have to look at taking that big spruce tree down on the left-hand side. It's got woodpecker holes in it and it's dying, it's gonna die. And we don't want it uprooting everything if it blows over, so
Yeah.
I've got a quote on taking it down, so something we'll have to look into in the near future.
Yeah.
So that's number 2 in my staff report. So I also included that in the budget for this year. Because with the increased weather events that we've been experiencing, if a wind was to take that with the extensive root system, we'd be having some serious trouble. And we don't want that to happen to anyone. That would be no good. So, it's better for us to do it, but it's such a size that our staff
Yeah, we can't
aren't
do it,
able
it's too
to
big.
accommodate that. So the quote that we did obtain was about $2,000. And that's with them having their own insurance and their own WSIB, which is important.
Because they're gonna take it down in sections.
Yeah, and they'll clean it up.
I mean, if we have to take the big butts away, we will, but they'll do all the branches and stuff like that.
So what I've done is I've put 2 motions in the package for today. One is to authorize the investigation of the survey. and the expansion and apply to the bereavement authority. So we have to go through the application process once we have the survey. And hopefully we can recoup all of those costs, but if not, I have put it in the budget. And we need to move forward with that if we're going to attempt to get it done soon. And the other one is for the tree, which is a pretty big concern for this year.
Okay, so I need a mover. Archie moved. That we authorize the continued investigation of the expansion of the St. John's Alsace Cemetery, including a complete survey of the property and cemetery lot layout. Approve a request to the Bereavement Authority of Ontario for use of care and maintenance funds for this project. All in favor?
And you said it was a total of 2.5 acres there?
Roughly, yeah.
I think with the older families down there too, that it could all say, we want 6, or
Right.
once
That's
this is
right.
done, would be a great thing, and then they know. Yeah,
Well, yeah, there's lots of people, well, not lots, but I've had people ask.
yes, yeah, and I
Yeah,
used it.
There's some misinformation out there
Yeah,
about how we sell the lots in that cemetery particularly, so it'd be nice to open it up again.
yeah. You say there's only 2
There's only 2
that use that
spaces
record up?
that I know for sure we can use that are,
Yeah, the last,
and we go in and there's tree roots and because that section has big tree. So when we've gone in, we've had to move some over, so that's taken a lot of distance.
the last one we did in there, like the boulders we pulled out of there were
Yeah.
like phenomenal. I couldn't believe we
Yeah.
boulders out of
They
there.
just get bigger.
I think they were growing, multiplying in there.
I can remember my dad on the pick and I was on the shovel.
That would be so hard in there, yeah, yeah.
It's funny, it seems like the side with the spruce trees, it's not bad digging. But
Yeah.
that other side was.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was filled.
It is like, was it ever filled or would you know, Rod?
If anything, it was filled on the east side,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
around that tree.
yeah,
By the valley.
Yeah.
of the-
Yeah, they kept pushing, they were going that way.
that's what it looks like when you're in there too, and
I thought there was more room at the very back though, I guess.
We did too. Dave and I went down there and it's not available.
And if you look in that cemetery in the spring, after like a real warm rain, you can see unmarked, like, you know, that it's been cut and put back down, but it grows the grass and it's square. So same as the Nipissing, there's
Yeah,
still some in there
absolutely.
that,
There's certain sections in both all 3 cemeteries
Yeah.
that we won't touch, just to make sure that we respect the sanctity of what may be there.
yeah. Okay, I need a mover. James Scott. And a seconder. That we approve the removal of a spruce tree, creating a safety concern in the Alsace Cemetery along the left fence when entering the cemetery grounds. And that we approve the cost of obtaining the services of an arborist for the project due to safety concerns and the size of the project. All in favor? Because I was afraid to come out today after that football game last night.
Do you call it that? It was a shock, I think, to everybody.
Yeah. I never shut a Super Bowl off during the game.
So we just have budget.
Yep, review the proposed.
So I did a staff report to go with the budget to explain what we were doing, but we can go line by line if we can make it better. So for revenue, we keep these numbers pretty static each year. Things change. I did lower the interest because the interest rates have gone down. We will be taking money from the reserve. And I did include the money that would be coming from the care maintenance reserve as well. Figure looks different. Expenses, the salary expenses will be going up. Because we'll be doing more work within the cemetery. Other expenses, so that includes the removal of the tree, the fencing, the survey and expansion costs, plus the $8,000 for regular costs, insurance, equipment, maintenance, and supplies. And there won't be any reserve for this year. We'll be utilizing the reserve.
Any questions on that?
So monument repair, install. So if there's a monument that's,
We only repair a monument if we damage it. Otherwise, if a monument is so old and it's falling over, the only requirement that we have of our staff is to lay it down flat. That's with any cemetery. We do not maintain monuments. Those are a family responsibility. And care and maintenance does not cover that either.
so what's monument repair mean then? Repair / install,
Is that a revenue account?
second line.
Yeah, it's a revenue account. So when people have a monument installed in our cemetery, they pay us for the cement foundation.
We
do
build the
our own.
foundations.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And the interest on cemetery is the interest on the care and maintenance fund. That's all that we're allowed to keep. So we move that at the end of the year, we transfer it into our operating. So last year we budgeted 65 and we actually moved 66, 68, 70. And we report on that annually to the bereavement authority as well, and we pay a licensing fee to them.
Any other questions? I need a mover. The second. That we support the 2025 draft cemetery operational budget as presented for inclusion in the Township of Nipissing 2025 budget discussions and for council approval. All in favor? And I need a mover. And a seconder. Did we adjourn the cemetery committee meeting at
11:59.
The next meeting will be held no later than February 28th, 2026.
2026.
All in favor? Carried.
Does ever have anybody asking to put their own stone up anymore?
We do. And when that happens, we call the committee together to approve it. We have one where family is looking, and they haven't submitted the information. And we had one last year.
Can they do that?
If it meets certain requirements,
Just put the foundation in and then they do it.
you can go. We've